In this video, we are going to talk more about rational numbers, specifically how we translate between decimals and fractions. So if we take the universe of rational numbers, which we remember is basically just ways that you can, numbers that you can write in as a fraction, right? Anything that can be written as a fraction is considered a rational number. So there are two types of numbers as far as decimals go. You could either have a terminating decimal. So that would be like 1/4, because that equals 0.25, or 6/5, because that equals 1.2. There is nothing else, right? If you type that into the calculator as 6 divided by 5, you are going to get 1.2. It's not going to go 1.22222222222 on forever. It's just done. No rounding needed. It's done. And then you have the ones that repeat. These are the ones that get weird. So we've got repeating decimals. So these are the ones where if you type it into a calculator to find what the decimal is, like 1/3, you would type in 1 divided by 3, and it would tell you 0.333333333. At some point, the calculator would cut it off. But if you were actually doing the math, like if you were doing the long division, it would continue to get threes forever and ever and ever and ever. Now, we don't actually want to write all those threes. No way. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to put a line above the 3. And what that line means is that we repeat this part forever. Okay. So sometimes, though, that one's pretty common, right? You've probably seen that before. They can look weirder. So let's say we had 3/13. So you're going to type in 3 divided by 13. That's how you get a fraction in the calculators with division. And oh boy, that almost looks random. Let's start copying it down and let's see what happens. So 3/13 equals 0.230769. And now there's a 2, 3, 1. Now that's tricky. There's that 1 at the end, but that 1 is actually just the 7 rounding up, because this is actually 230769 repeating. And so you have to look for where it starts to repeat again. And so that 2, 3 right here is the same as that 2, 3. So this really should be a 0, except the calculator is rounding it up to a 1 because it knows that the digit after it is a 7. So I'm going to erase the 2 and the 3 and the 1 to show that it's just 230769. You have to look for where it repeats. Sometimes that's a pretty long one. They're not always that long. You might also get something like, let's say 45/44. Notice this one's bigger than 1, right? But once again, I can use a calculator to do this for me. 45/44. And this time, that one looks kind of weird too. I get 1.0227. Here it goes. 2727. And then it's a 3 at the end because the 7 would have rounded up the 2 to be a 3. But that 27 part is what's repeating there. So not the 0.2 at the start, just that 27 right there. Because if you look at it, 27. It's just a cycle of 2 numbers that repeats. So make sure that you don't put the bar over everything. You just put it over the part that repeats. All right, now the other skill that we need to learn for this unit So then to make sure. So we've got terminating decimals, we've got repeating decimals. If it's neither of those, then that means it is irrational. So that means irrational. So that means doesn't terminate or repeat. So we talked about how things like the square root of 2 or pi are example of irrational numbers. So if you did that on a calculator, we remember how to do a square root, right? You do second and then the x squared button, and then you do a 2, and it would give you 4, 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 5, 6, 2. So you kind of might feel like it's trying to repeat with all those 4s and 1s, but it doesn't, and it's not going to. And anytime you have a square root that's not a square number, or like a fraction or a decimal that's going to end up being a nice number like that, it's not going to work. So these are going to be irrational because they're going to continue forever, and they're never going to repeat. No ending, no repeating. It looks like it ends, but it doesn't. The calculator just cuts it off. You just have to know. That's why this is tricky. All right. The other skill we need to be able to do is we need to be able to rewrite decimals into fractions. So let's say I asked you to change 1.35 to a fraction. We have to know that if we take 1.35, that 1, that's just a whole, right? So I know this is going to be a mixed number. It's going to be like 1 and something. I just need to figure out what those somethings are. So if I look at the 3 and the 5 and I think about place value, that 3 is in the tenths place and the 5 is in the hundredths place. So that means that the 35 is going to be 35 100ths because the last digit is in the hundredths place. And then from there, I can simplify. So I know that 35 and 100 both have a factor of 5. So I can divide top and bottom by 5. 35 divided by 5 gives me 7. 10 divided by 5 gives me 20. So that means my answer is 1 and 7/20. And I can check my work by plugging 7/20 into the calculator. 7 divided by 20. And sure enough, that gives me 0.35. So 1 and 7/20 would give me 1.35. Now it's time for your practice problem. Please change 0.24 into a fraction. Good luck.